Hey friends, God dang it, Alan. Hey friends, welcome back to another Couch Cat video. This is our winter holiday event review video. It's our yearly edition, and we haven't done it for multiple years yet. But this is the first one. So what the heck, man? Let's do it. Let's just do it.
Starting off well.
Yeah, well, let's toast to that, dude. I'm Paisen. That's Crazy Fi.
Hello.
And for those of you who don't know, we are Couch Cat, and we're all about SimpleMMO. It's a very simple browser-based MMORPG. It's also on mobile. So if this is your first video, if you've discovered us through the algorithm, go check it out. SimpleMMO is where you want to be. Anyway, so the winter holiday event, it's been a couple weeks now that it's been over. It finished off in the first week of January 2023, and it started way back December 16th, 2022. And this was a very different event if you think about it, because there were multiple events going on. Whether that was an official card, the soccer card event going on, the World Cup event, and then also a community event that was being ran by XBuy, Trian, and staff, the best players of SimpleMMO for 2022 event. So it was almost, I wouldn't say it was lost in the sauce, but it was very much thrown in the mix. And you know, if you're a newer player, if you're going to be a new player, these events are major events, or at least considered by the community major events that happen throughout the year. They're the seasonal events that you would find in any other MMORPG or any game in general. But yeah, so that was what made this very unique. One aspect is that there were multiple events going on, and the second aspect was this was the first event that was not being that the general artwork, so NPCs, the unlocks within the event, because every major event like this has its own one special currency to unlock and to use towards special rewards, and either they're equipable, they're sprites, or they're background map packs. Anyway,
the wallpapers.
They're wallpapers. This is the first time that the artist in a while, the artist was an Ubi, who is the mainstay artist for the game currently. The art was done by Red69, that's his new name, and you know, very good artist, very different but same approach, if you will, with the humor, very on the nose. But we'll get into that. So
yeah,
here's the 22 winter holiday event review. Crazy Fi, if you would, can you just start off with your first opinion on this?
Sure. Event? So I will tell you, as a heads up, my opinions are basically separated into 3 different categories for this event, right? Like, so it comes down to the nodes, so like the currency, if you will, that you obtain throughout the game with the mats, the artwork, and just general thoughts overall of the entire event. First off, though, so we'll get into the nodes here. Nodes, the biggest complaint that I have, and what I will cover for when we do the other opinions of that folks have given us, it's the amount of baubles, whatever they are, that you receive throughout the event. It's like, so you have two currencies basically, right? You have a common item and then elite item that you have to farm for through stepping. Bauble nodes, the common one, I would get like every 3rd step. Elites, there was, okay, to be fair, I had some high rolling days where I was like 4 nodes and I got a lot, and then there are days like just several days in a row, just nothing. They wouldn't pop up. It's felt like the elite nodes have decreased the spawn rate, so it's harder to obtain, which is a real freaking pain, because this is probably the most I've ever stepped in an event, and if it wasn't for Cutie, shout out to Cutie, I would not have gotten enough elite nodes to be able to purchase anything. So
and
that was frustrating.
The elite nodes were altered with a lower rate. Yeah.
So that was that was frustrating, and I know that was frustrating for a lot of people, and I don't know why the decision was made for that. But it is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, I feel you. So the common currency, which was the bauble, uh, yeah, it was easy to load up because you get them through steps, you get them through battle arena, and you get them through questing. Um, and maybe PvP. I'm not sure. I don't PvP any,
Yeah, I
but
believe so.
okay, so you get them through all aspects.
Yeah.
But the elite
It
is
was a struggle
stepping,
bus.
and I was also, and I was stepping like crazy. I was actually more motivated to try to get to level 20,000 than
Right.
get the event items, and I'm really close now. But I was just stepping and getting called out in chat by Ubi saying that I'm actually active in the game, and I wasn't getting shit.
Yeah.
So I had 2 days, I believe, that I didn't touch an elite node. So that was a huge bummer. That was like rain on my parade, so to speak. And a lot of people were resorting to like right off the bat buying, like just
Yep.
straight up throwing whatever price, screwing up the market even more, because there is a market um, adjustment that needs to happen, just like in real life. But yeah, I agree with you completely on your take with the nodes. What else? What else you got for us?
Yeah. So that was basically it about the nodes. I will say, like, I always like the nodes to the common to and the elite to have some type of theme together. I don't know if a bauble and a lantern have that theme. I don't know. It reminds me of that one movie with the cow. It was animated. I don't know. It was a kid movie for Christmas. Maybell.
Oh,
Maybell, I think, is the cow's name. I don't know. Whatever.
like
So
the from the
maybe it does have a
cheese? No,
theme. Um, yeah, and their barn catches on fire. I don't know.
the
Weird though.
lantern. The lantern was amazing,
Yeah,
and
I mean the artwork was great for it.
yeah,
It's
I
just
was hoping the lantern would be more than just currency and replace some of the other. But that, I digress. But go on.
yeah, yeah. So the next going into artwork, actually, a smooth
Mhm.
transition here.
Wow, geez.
Uh, I like the artwork overall. My opinion of the artwork is that it's clean and it looked good. I didn't think there was like any crappy products that
Mm.
Red built out. I thought they were all very well made. Um, I wish there was more artwork from Red and less backgrounds, and that was really frustrating. And I think it was frustrating for a lot of people actually. So that's kind of sad. And actually, you could find out why Red wasn't able to do more artwork in our interview or exclusive interview with Red on our website, couchcatpod.com. So I highly recommend that. He explained everything in the whole entire process as why we didn't see as much art as we would love to have seen from him.
Cool. And I see you got one more.
Yes. Yes. So, my one gripe with the artwork, and this was also explained in our exclusive interview with Red, is that the NPCs all face to the right, or I guess to the right. Uh, I don't know, mirrors,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
They're facing the wrong way. So every time they would attack you, they would move towards your character. However, they would just be moving towards their back, or like the elf with the bow and arrow or the gun, they'd be shooting away from you while you're taking damage from them. It ruined my immersion, and
My
like
immersion.
it really like I can't like I it irritated me. It really frustrated me that happened. I understand why it happened and how it occurred, so no fault to Red. I completely understand why it occurred like that. But man, is it frustrating to see that every time, because I love the bow and arrow elf. Awesome artwork. Hated the fact that I could not get shot by the bow and arrow because this is the wrong way. But yeah, that is my gripe.
Wow. So yeah, going over your artwork stuff, I agree with you. Red, I mean, he's a noble artist, so he's known for his good work. I agree they were good. I don't know what it was, but for the longest time, like just dipping my feet into the event, I felt like the avatar. I felt like every item that Red did was small,
Yeah.
even though
Yep.
they were the correct size. Um, but asking other artists, the full it wasn't like whatever you call it, like the panel wasn't being fully utilized. And that's because Red is really good with like creating a piece of art and then a scene with it,
Yeah.
which is good or bad. So for me, like viewing these items, especially on mobile, I was like, dude, these are small. Uh, and that's not on him. It's just that's just how I feel. Um,
Yeah.
and your point with the backgrounds. Yeah, I mean these things are like $2 or $3. We say this a lot. We've stumbled on them looking for our own backgrounds for our
Yeah.
stream,
Yep.
and yeah, it costs like $3. But the currency, the event currency needed to unlock them is more than $3 in my opinion because of the time
Yes.
and the rarity of the elite drop. It will set you back any one of these freaking wallpapers,
Yeah, and it just doesn't feel like they fit within the game. Out of everything in the game, I think those backgrounds, wallpapers, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
they don't fit the aesthetic of the game because it's not pixel, it
It's not
related
it's not
art.
even it's not even like RPG. It's like fantasy art,
Yeah. Yep.
which RPGs can have it. Yes, I get it, but like it's like if you look at it, it looks like it's for a whole different demographic, not a video game. Um, so yeah, I'm with you on that. And the NPCs facing it, we were all messaging each other about this. We're like, hey,
Yeah.
is it me or there's
Yep.
a lot of NPCs facing the wrong way. And luckily, Crazy Fi did that interview with Red again, couchcatpod.com on our blog. Go to the blog tab, and you'll find it there. You can just search Red, and it'll pop up. And luckily, that was there.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a gripe. And another thing, just to kind of connect the wallpapers and the artwork,
Sure.
not being like I don't know within the scope of the game. I think Red did good. I just wasn't really interested in the item design itself. I'm a very traditional MMO player, so like some of the equipables, because if you're new here, a lot of players they really farm these events besides the collectors and all that stuff. They farm these events for the equipables. So it's the
Right.
pet and then the special slot. So Alan made the joke immersion breaking when it came to the wallpapers and also the NPCs. Well, mainly the NPCs.
NPCs.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm that way when it comes to equipables. And I was like, I do not want to equip one mitten for my special. Okay. So that
Just
wasn't
cut
that
off the
was
other hand. Come on now.
yeah, I cut off but that was my only gripe with that. It's just like it was on a personal. I was like, oh, I'm not interested in like having these as part of my equipment.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and the pets are cool, but again, it's like it when you're stepping and you're battling with your pet. Say one of the coolest ones was the wolf, and it's like it's a whole scene.
Right.
So when you're stepping, you got a wolf that's howling, and it's like a mountain backdrop, and moon, and like it's like a
Yeah.
full beautiful
It's
scene. But
clean.
it's clean, but it's like I don't want to see that stepping. Like it doesn't look, in my eyes, it's
Yeah.
like it should just be a wolf. But again,
Right.
those are just my preferences. Nothing against Red and those who enjoy it, because you should. He did a good job. Yeah, that's what I had. That otherwise, I agree with you, Crazy Fi. That was just me adding on to it. So let's move into your third
Yeah,
your
so
third
my general
criteria.
thoughts over this
Hmm.
for this event. I first and foremost, I guess I've been playing this game on and off since 2020, 21, maybe, so 1 to 2
Yeah, you wouldn't
years.
tell. You couldn't tell if you looked at
Yeah,
his level or
off and
anything.
on. But more so on now than any other time. But
Mm,
I was there when the nodes were invented, right? Like when they were creating, that was the event type. I gotta tell you, it's kind of boring now. Like it was a
mm,
cool novelty thing the first time it happened. and I get it. Stepping is a core mechanic, so you want to build an event around stepping. But
Yeah.
holy mother of God, can we just not do any more of these? Find these nodes, hit to mine them, and then hope to God you make out to at least 50 of the elite and 1,000 of the common, or 500 of the common to buy one of the lower end items in the events. I'm getting bored. There needs to be some. I'm not saying completely get rid of this type of event. I'm just saying add more so that when you plan out your yearly events or your events that happen throughout that year, you mix them up so it feels fresh. I know we just had a card event at the same time, but I'm kind of getting bored of just the node event, so I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. And if you're interested and you haven't seen it yet, 2 streams ago, it was King Cow's birthday, I believe. I presented this topic as a point of discussion of what a new event format would look like, and we suggested, I made this in a hallway at work when I should have been working. Anyway, I digress. I suggested, specialized world bosses, limited edition world bosses completely made for the event that tie into the core change, in my opinion, is farming for these events by doing actions other than stepping. So these world bosses are key, or would be key, to unlocking parts of an equipable set. Like, I'm done with the wallpapers. Of course I love avatars, but like, these days, if I want an avatar, I'm just going to commission it.
Right.
But I also think, yeah, keep them, because players who don't have that ability to get commissions, they should be able to earn it in game.
Absolutely.
So I'm not saying completely remove them, but I'm done with wallpapers. I'm not the target audience for avatars anymore, besides buying it and reselling it when they're super rare. I want full-on traditional MMO, full-on equipable sets. So a whole armor set with weapon, special pet, all the armor pieces, greaves, chests, what have you, right? And I want to be able to earn that through fighting world bosses. So objective based, fighting world bosses, encountering maybe a special mob while stepping in the Christmas location. And then also tying into that to accelerate it or increase your chances. Parties actually have an effect on the rate of those equipables being dropped. And then of course you could again have your currency and your nodes for the lesser important things like the avatar. And if I guess you'll always have a wallpaper, maybe the wallpapers and the transfer of currency to energy points and quest points, so you can upgrade your character without spending money with the event currency. So I want all that to remain, but I don't want that to be main focus. I want to be able to walk away with a cool set like you would get in any MMO, New World, WoW, what have you, Final Fantasy. And I want to be able to do it through objective base, and I want to be able to do it with my friends and my friends helping me. I'm not just getting the base EXP and travel speed boost. I'm getting the boost in drop of, I might actually get an armor piece, and getting one piece will just fuel me throughout it. And of course, we also talked about in the stream with Alan's feedback, or Crazy Fight's feedback, excuse me, and King Cow, he's a guild leader of TPC, and a frequent guest on our streams. This requires tuning and all that stuff, but I'm not going to worry about that. These are just throwing them into the space. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Like, it could definitely be better. And your sentiment is shared, because we brought this up during the stream, and a lot of people are saying it's getting boring. We brought it up for feedback from the community, which we'll be going into soon, and it's the same. But yeah, that's how I felt about that.
Yeah. I will say I did like the idea. Well, I really did like how there was overlap in the two events. You had the World Cup card event and then the Christmas, or excuse me, the winter holiday event. And you had 2 to 3 days, if memory serves correct, where it overlapped. And it showed that we could overlap events, which is kind of nice. I thought it was cool because maybe you couldn't get a card, but you got some, elite node,
Mhm.
or sometimes you're struggling to get elite nodes and you're able to get a card through tasks. Like, so I thought that aspect was cool. There was always some way to earn something at least once for that day, so you didn't feel like you just wasted, I don't know, 12 hours of your life on a video game for Seppin, if you're into
And
that.
and there was also, if you were in the know and you knew the community or the inner community that involved, there's kind of that buzz of like of the nominations and the voting for best players of Simple MMO 2022. So a lot of people were in global talking about that. A lot of people were trying to get their last minute nominations by
Yeah,
acting more active than they were.
yeah, recency
Um,
bias, baby.
yeah, recency bias, brother. And yeah, that was also cool in the mix. While
Yeah,
and endlessly stepping for an elite node.
right, right. Yeah, and to your community point, like there are seasonal MMO players, and we see that in Simple MMO. We've talked
Yeah.
about this, right? Like people come back solely for the events, like your alt account. Chemtrails comes back for the,
What? Dude, I'm gonna get banned. People are gonna believe you.
yeah. Uh, but
uh,
they're like, we see this on the server, like stats each day. Like it'll be like, more than normal, like 700 players all playing
mm,
at once, trying to earn the nodes to be able to get the seasonal equipment, whatever it may be that they're interested in. And then the population dies down again after the event, and don't go back up for the next
yeah.
one. So it's really cool to see those old school players come back and be able to interact with the community again and have a good time. So that is probably the best aspect of all the events, is bringing people back that we miss.
Yeah. And we say that about every event.
Yeah,
And I also think that just proves like go the extra mile for the major events, and we know
right.
people are going to return. We know there's a increased chance that new players will play the game because there is an event going on at that magnitude.
Right.
Um, and this will tie into like my last two gripes that I'll just go in. One, I don't believe there was enough advertisement around it. I would definitely be, changing however the app interface works in the Apple Store and Google, whatever. I
Yeah.
would definitely have made it more Christmassy and made it a point. Join now. Christmas event is live. In like the little blurb,
Yep.
Christmas event is live. Get X amount of diamonds for creating, your new account, whatever. Of course,
Yeah.
it could be abused, right, by alts. But anyway, that's the thing. Um, advertise it on the landing page. And then also really build hype into the event. We're here, we're partners with we are Couch Cat. We're partners with SimpleMMO, Galahad Creative.
Right.
Use us, because luckily we love the game in the community, where we're going to do it ourselves. But we weren't given anything. We weren't brought in the loop of anything. And unfortunately, it was up to us to even announce and give, credit in the limelight to Red being a new artist.
Yeah, that was frustrating.
This was his first event. This is pretty big for for pixel artists in the game.
Yep.
And Ubi blessed him, and he did his job, and he was able to do it well. But there was no hype building up. There was no, something's different about this event. Like stay tuned, or yeah, there was no teases, no leaks, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm as a businessman with my brother over here, is very disappointing. And I hope that changes in the future. And that, even if you don't include us in the future, whatever. I'm just saying, like, do what's good for the game.
Yeah.
Advertise you have like an event, especially if you change the format in the future. Advertise that the work you're putting into gets noticed by players beyond the community, because that's what we're here for. We're trying to get an influx of new players in. But that's my last 2 cents. Crucify, do you have anything before we move on to opinions for the community?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. It's frustrating that Red didn't get the credit that he deserved outside of people posting him global chat in our interview. Like that's unfair to him, especially for the short notice operation that he did to be able to support the event for it to actually
Yeah,
happen. Like I couldn't imagine that, having to cancel because no one could do it. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So let's get
Every
into the. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say one thing. Every stream during the holiday event, we got people saying, "Wait, Ubi didn't do the art. There's a new
Yeah,
artist." Just
yeah,
saying that's not made. That's not fake. Like that actually happened.
yeah. So
Unfortunate. All
it
right,
is.
so we'll move on.
Yep.
Enough of my soapbox. So during our stream, which we stream twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. US Eastern Standard Time, and sometimes we have a coffee stream that's much earlier, 8 a.m. on Saturdays and random dates. I just thought I'd throw it in there. We we asked our community, we asked the SimpleMMO community as a whole, but our friends that take the time to watch our content, to take the time to hang out with us on streams, we asked for their opinions. We asked for their opinions on the winter holiday event of 2022 specifically, and how we did this. Again, we asked live, we asked in videos on YouTube, and we have a text channel in our Discord server, which link down below in the description, and also in game under the community tab. You click podcast. There's a hyperlink to our server where our friends once again could leave their opinions for us to share with everyone who's going to watch this video. So thank you to, ahead of time, thank you to everyone who took the time to give us your input. It's vital to this video and hopefully to others who watch it, and staff and etc. And Mike, hopefully Mike watches this because we know he listens to the community. And in the future, because our Discord server is changing, I just want to preface, we're going to start introducing forums into our Discord server, which will make it a lot much easier. But again, this is just a basic text channel, and thank you to everyone who participated. So the first opinion we have is King Cows, again, one of our constant co-hosts, and he says, no twerking Santa alternative, 2 out of 10 event. And for those of you who don't know, twerking Santa is a
Amazing
disgusting avatar in game.
Amazing.
Once you see it for the first time, you don't need to see it again.
Yeah, and Red in the interview discussed trying to create a twerking Santa alternative, so you should check that out. That's an interesting conversation he had about that.
Yeah,
because by far the best avatar out there.
Yeah, and shout out to Red, very forthcoming.
Yes,
that's what we love to see, especially because we don't really know the process, right? Ubi's
right.
always willing to talk, but from a new artist, it's always interesting to see like, oh, what the fuck is this, But
Yeah.
Okay, so our next opinion is Dagon, excuse me, longtime listener and viewer. So shout out to Dagon, and he looks really good in our hoodie, by the way. You can get our merch link down in the description. And here's another one. But he says, pros, event artwork from Red was great. Our guild, his guild, was able to complete a few stepping tasks thanks to people being more active the first weekend because of the event launch, right?
Yep.
And fun to have our less active guild members hanging out in our server. So again, another example of seasonal players coming back.
Yep.
He says cons. Drop rates sucked for me. While 1 or 2 of my guildmates said they had no problem getting lanterns, which is the elite node, I ended up getting 2.6k baubles to 134 lanterns. And I bought most of those lanterns. Not sure what distribution looks like for everyone else, but for me, it was bad. Event tools and celestial tools more generally may as well not exist given how rare they are. Yes. And also, they even, for a temporary time, lower the rarity of the tools, and they still sucked at being dropped. And for those of you who don't know, and honestly, I forget they exist every event. There are celestial tools that are part of these events that, unless you have players like Kin dropping the fucking sprites in the chat, you won't know they exist.
Yeah, I had completely forgotten about the tools during the review of like what my opinions were.
Right?
Because they just like what I bet like 3 players have a full set, maybe. Like, it's ridiculous how if you're going to drop them down to epic level or for the weekend, I would think like a few hundred players would get them. But man, it's so difficult. And maybe they did, and we just never saw it. But I'm pretty sure that's not true at all. So,
Yeah. And
yeah,
fun fact, we've never mentioned tools until now.
yeah,
In if all of our blogs and videos on past events, we've never once mentioned tools.
yep, yep.
All right, so we'll get into the next one. Cord, or as I like to call Card, and he just typoed his name. His pros are: Red is a cool guy and makes great art all the time. Hope he isn't burnt out. Is that shade to Ubi? I don't... Anyway, everyone got back on and was encouraged to help each other, which was really nice. Our guild was able to get the gold to do some giveaways and rewards, allowing everyone to get involved. The gold also helped secure the future of the guild better through PowerPoints and guild bank. Cons. Yeah, drop rates were really bad overall. It's really weird that this event is only 2 weeks compared to the 2.5 to 3 weeks in recent events, especially considering that people aren't stepping for some of this event to celebrate the holidays. I would guess that Mike is trying to go back to being strict with events to increase FOMO, but it just seems odd. P.S. Thank you, Dagon, for the pro-con format idea. Yeah, sure, he's the first one to do it. King Cows did not help at all. Thanks, King Cows. And yeah, that's interesting. Alan, do you think like a major event should deserve more time compared to like the community event we saw last year?
Yeah, so community events 3 weeks. I think that's great because there's a lot of artwork, and it's all going to disappear after that event. You won't be able to obtain it. For this event, I thought 2 weeks was fine. I think 3 weeks is going a little overboard because it's I don't know. It's like a December event to me. So the fact that it ended a few days into January, that makes sense. I think the amount of time that the event happened was perfect in my opinion. I didn't have an issue with it.
Yeah, I agree. And bad news, you know, all those equipables are probably going to be outdated in spring. So
it's a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic break your heart moment here. All right,
Yep.
so next we have Dark, also known as Russell, also known as Chef. Also in our server is known as I got muted for a month because they got muted for a month in game. Their pros are Red's art, people coming back to the game and making the community alive. The game is hype and people want to play. Christmas is happy and fun. More people to stab. They're a advanced PvPer. Cons.
Yeah.
Since the drop rates are low, I have no motivation to step. Since I don't step, I don't get event mats. The only event mats I get from PvP are the commons. The event rewards are expensive. Everyone is in safe mode to focus on the event, and I have no one to stab. Sad face. Wow, spoken like a true PvPer.
Yep, it's more drop rates in community. That seems to be the underlying factor. Pro, community. Con, drop rates.
Yeah. So. Pro, Red's art.
Yeah.
But no one's calling out the wallpapers like we will, and we will make sure we're heard. Okay, so we have Rory, Magical Nut Collector here. He's a little squirrel boy in chat, and he always collecting magical nuts in game. And he says, pros, received over 2,000 magical nuts, which has nothing to do with the event. Event materials seemed scarce, so great value for those who stepped. I think background number 163 was beautiful. Slander. I liked the weapon and armor sprites a lot. The new avatars are nice. My favorite was the melting snowman. In general, all the new items seemed well done. Cons. No nut themed items in the event shop. The other backgrounds were kind of bad. Yes, I had to kill an untold number of naked elves and really wished it was an avatar option.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was good. So Ghosted here. Ghosted says pros, Red's art. Cons, Red's art. Because I win, or he typed, because I want to catch them all. So I know like the whole event, but wear lantern, no lantern. Therefore, no Red's art. Therefore, pain and sadness. So true, Ghosted. How you just spiraled down to madness.
Elegant, very elegant,
very haiku-ish. We have Arnius here. Arnius. Pros. It's not a card event. It's nice to get some new artwork. The pets and specials were great, though some of the avatars weren't to my taste. Christmas is always fun. Had a great time discussing the event with some guild mates. Cons. Why bring back only one event sprite and avatar from Christmas 2021? Bring them all back or none at all. Wish we could have got some new event tools instead of reusing the old ones, with the exception of slaying it. Event was too short to get everything I wanted. Please release a 4.5% crit pet and special to make everyone's baubles and slays drop in price so I can get one to collect.
Yeah.
Next is TO. Oh, were you going to say something?
No, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. Next was TO, friend of the stream of the show of Couch Cat, and also one of our YouTube mods. So if you join our stream, prepare to get banned. Just kidding. He never bans anyone. Pros. Red is great, so items are great. Cons. Have not done a single step this whole event because busy, so no great items for me. Yeah. That must burn. Like, you wait all year for the Christmas event, and you can't even be a part of it, whether it's stepping or communicating with the community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one, we have XBuy, OG YouTuber, friend of Couch Cat, homie of Couch Cat, and he says pro meh event. How's that? Con, pretty much same event as the past 4 years. I like the card event. It was new. It wasn't the best, but it was new and exciting for me. So there's a point leading to Alan's gripe about the format already getting stale.
Yeah.
Nauri, friend of Couch Cat, says pros. Love the art. Peeps hanging out more to grind. Seems that the daily tasks started matching the event NPC drops. Cons. Lanterns are a pain to get. Want to get all the event items, but I have to work for a living. My poor arthritic thumbs. I will say that was a little disappointment for me because when the World Cup event, which was the card event, dropped, tasks were revamped, which was amazing for the game, in my opinion. And with that event, the task rewards were geared towards the World Cup. So when the winter holiday event dropped, I made a video and I was like, oh, it would be sick if it carried over and we could, supplement the way we earn things,
Right.
And that didn't happen. There was no other option. Like, the task did not aid in the event at all, which was unfortunate because it kind of pulls you out of the event. But,
Right.
Moving on, Quirksy, a longtime homie, one of the founding members of Couch Cat, says there was a Christmas event. Thank you, Quirksio. Graven says the pro is Red's art, cons, save event format for the 4th year. So he meant same. He even edited it and still messed it up. What a vampire, dude. He's a vampire from Romania. Here's a long list here. We got Cutie, friend of the show, mod of the Discord, says pros. Oh, and not a girl, by the way. Pros, Red's art, celestial tools. LO, not like anyone got any. We always bought them. Cat pet. Some old players came back. It was nice to say hi to them. Motivated me to get an Xmas custom avatar. Yeah, the cat with the hat, which I think Red was doing anyway. Red gave himself, he was supposed to keep it silent that he was an artist, and he gave himself away by saying he was working on a cat. And then it transferred into the event somehow. But anyway, cons. Lower drop rate without it being announced was pretty slimy of Mike, sadly. Because of lower drop and unable to know life, I bought pet/special, so having to buy instead of earn it. No higher crit items or re-release the old ones. Re-released avatars and backgrounds are the worst looking ones. Star-Lord Reindeer avatar win. Tool release was, as always, a thinly veiled ploy to sell diamonds for chests. Hope Mrs. Mike liked her expensive gift. God, dude, so critical.
He was brutal on the comment there.
Yeah, I will say though, Cutie tells it straight. So
yeah,
it doesn't normally come from nowhere. And we have Stratocaster here, a long time viewer. Good to see you, Stratocaster, in our Discord server. Says, I liked most of the art for the event, but the backgrounds are the worst ever. Terrible. I sad my eyes multiple times after being exposed, but the mental image still burns. Also, we really need a new format for events. Cheers. Now, last but not least, we have Delusion here. Delusion, he goes off a list and he says, so my input for the event. 1, I love collecting things, and this was my first event where I was not interrupted and got to grind and also enjoy vibing with the community and stuff. 2, Artist shift was great. Not saying bad about Ubi, but I also loved Red's art, and it was awesome and felt satisfying to collect each and every avatar. 3. The backgrounds are garbage. I'm sorry, but really bad. They look like wrapping paper. 4. I agree with everyone, especially on today's stream. He's mentioning our stream when we were asking for input. We just need more things, different formats for the event. More content by different format. I mean, like not nodes, then exchange, then repeat until you got everything. So again, shake it up, not just stepping and getting nodes.
Freshen it up.
5. Yeah. 5. Interaction added between party and guild with events. That would be absolutely awesome to see, and I would be very happy. 6. PvE needs changes. Just gets tired of fighting the same NPCs for hours and getting the occasional event mat, and rest are garbage items. 7. Just a side note that most of these are like general tips and stuff. Hopefully Mike will continue doing a great job. Right. Yeah. All that being said, Mike did a great job for the year. Did a great job for the event.
Absolutely.
Like he always does. It's just we're critical because we wanted him to continue to doing a great job.
Yeah.
Either we're right or wrong. You know, just because a couple of people say we're right doesn't mean we're right. You know?
Yeah. These are just personal opinions of a couple of people.
Yeah. Of the coolest couple of people I know. You know what I mean, brother? But anyway, those are the opinions. Again, thank you to everyone who contributed. And for those of you who are seeing this and they're like, whoa, I want to contribute, get ready. It's going to be a lot more easier. And we're always doing calls for actions during our stream, especially when events pop up or major changes happen in the game.
Right.
But that concludes the opinions. That concludes the winter holiday event review of 2022.
So my question is, out of 1 to 10, what would you rate this event? After all the opinions and after all the conversations, what would you rate it as?
For me, I would sit at a 6. I wasn't really... At first, I was like... At first, I was hyped because Ubi leaked to me that he was not going to be the... He actually leaked to Coffee Stream. I don't know. He didn't... I don't think he had authority to do that, but during a Coffee Stream, before the event, he leaked he wasn't going to be the artist. He did not leak the artist, though. So I was like, okay, this is different. This is interesting. I need to know.
Right.
But with the release of the event, there was no hype buildup. We were the ones doing our best, right? In our corner of SimpleMMO, like all the way down here. Then the events were, or the event went live, items dropped. And again, I wasn't into, usually I'm huge into the equips, so the specials and event, but they weren't my jam, right? So I was like, okay. Then it just became routine for me because one, I want to be able to talk about the event and not just, poop on it like many YouTubers do with many games. I want to be able to play the event, embed myself with the community because again, I love it when community is more active. Which gives it the 6, I think, in my mind. But yeah, I wasn't really that hyped about the art. It's good, just not for me. And the elite nodes really made it feel not rewarding. I didn't have to buy any, but people were gifting them to me because it was so abysmal. And then eventually I was able to make up my own. I only made enough to get avatars. And then I gave the rest to my alt account, Kimchers. But so she could get the pet. But like, yeah, I would say easy 6 out of 10. Not my favorite, especially coming off of Halloween event where I got like everything I wanted. I love the aesthetic. That's just me personally. I love the aesthetic of Halloween in general, and then the event location. And again, everyone's returning, but it's not as many people as you would think because the holidays you get time off, or Halloween's not, it's not one of those event or holidays. But yeah, 6 out of 10.
Okay, I think I'll give it a 6.5.
Bro, that's so whack. Just say 6 out of 10, dude.
No, because I thought 6. I'm stuck in between 6 and 7, so I think it's easy to just give it 6.5. Like, more so leaning towards 6, but there are some aspects that could get you to 7, so definitely 6.5 for me. Hopefully 2023 is better.
Yeah. What are you Stop doing what you're doing right now. Chat, when this video goes live, tell Crazyfy to stop touching his desk.
And my dogs are invading.
Tell
office.
Crazyfy to get rid of his dogs while he's recording.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So, way to put us on the spot at the very end. But that concludes our review, our video. Crazyfy, do you have any last words and no questions?
That's it.
All right, cool. I'm Paisen. That's Crazyfy. We're Couch Cat. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here. And head on over to couchcatpod.com for more SimpleMMO content, including our merch. Peace out.
See ya.